Hi friends, uh, I am Satrajit Swai. I am a student of Digital Deepak and I am doing this video, I am making this video for the assignment of class 3 in Digital Marketing Internship Program. This video is focused on triggers to influence anyone. Or in other words, we can say getting to say yes, the basis of any marketing. Marketing is all about making anyone say yes. Yes for what? Yes for the product, the service, whatever one is trying to pitch or sell, whatever. So the big question comes, how? How can we influence someone to say yes to our product or service? To understand that, we need to understand. Sorry, we need to understand that how a brain makes decision. We can successfully influence a decision only when we understand how the brain makes decision. Uh, So we are not thinking machines. We human beings are feeling machines that thinks. This is the basics. Emotions guides the intellect, not the intellectual part of our brain guides our emotions. Our emotions guides our intellectual part of the brain. Now, what emotional impetus or triggers are and how they work, how to activate them in other to genuinely influence their decision. How will you wield your influence to understand this? Neuroscience has proven that people respond much more strongly to emotional cues than to logical argument. The emotional parts are always stronger than the logical parts. Emotional triggers can create nearly automatic compliance. They have powerful impact. Those who understand this can have enormous power to get approval, sales, etc. etc. We will be focusing on the emotional triggers that are the most consequential to business. Master these triggers and success will be yours. The 7 triggers to say yes begins with number 1 is social proof. We are very easily influenced by any social proof. By social proof, I mean that your when we see any reviews, star ratings in an online purchase, or when some offline purchase we are referred by any of our known person, friends, or when we see a crowd in a shop or something, we feel that okay, this is a nice place to go. Whether we like it or not, crowds are powerful forces. Humans are inescapably social, and the simple truth is we love to act in packs because we are social beings. Okay? The study demonstrates that users are constantly evaluating what others are saying and when it comes to making their purchasing decision. In other words, the first psychological trigger to increase your conversion and sales shouldn't come from you. It should come from the people who are already using your product. Now, we come to the second. Second is scarcity. Scarcity means when there is a limitation of to that thing, we rush for that. That is scarcity. So, like when we are going to purchase something, we see the only limited stock is left, um, or a limited time period is available for that. We rush for that. That is scarcity. And how uh, how scarcity drives? It drives what drives scarcity is fear. To the point, as humans, we are more motivated by the fear of losing than we are by the desire of gaining. with at least 56% of us experiencing active FOMO. This trigger drives consumer behavior and is even responsible for our borderline addictive love for social media. The tricky thing is, how can you create scarcity without waiting for the hand of fate to swing your way? For example, uh, take Deepak in last class, in our third class. He simply created an scarcity by limiting the number of licenses to 50. So due to this scarcity, he sold all the 50 licenses within 24 hours. This is a created scarcity. The third one is reciprocity. Reciprocity means give and take. What we give, we get back. In our Indian culture, we have a reciprocity of giving gifts and getting back gifts. Similarly, in business also it is. Reciprocity is powerful and deeply ingrained psychological trigger. Actually, it's inescapable. The principle is simple. When you receive, you are more likely to give. Right? To be clear, this isn't just fanciful karma. One of the most widespread and basic norms of human culture is embodied in the rule for reciprocation. The rule requires that one person try to repay in kind what another person has provided. So, how do you reciprocity online? The most obvious way is through what are often called lead magnets or carrot content offer. By offering your audience a free but genuinely valuable uh, anything, email, ebook, or and some online a part of an online course, webinar, a checklist, a special report. These are the lead magnets, or this is a trigger. You are starting a trigger of reciprocity. They are more likely to take next step in the sales process when it's presented, when they get something. Fourth is authority. Authority means anyone who has got an authority on us. When he or she uh, instruct us, we follow it. Like our parents, our boss, they are authority figure. In some cases, like any senior politician whom we like, or any film star or sports person. This one. So, like Deepak in our case, before Deepak has got an authoritative figure in front of us. When he advises something, we accept it easily and we go for it. Where social proof relies on the power of crowd, authority takes the principle a step further to utilize the power of a specific individual. The reason authority is scary is the same reason it's powerful. A clear example is how business in the business in the health industry, or supplement weight loss industry, or toothpaste endorsement, these are from medical professionals with impressive credential. Even though they are not medical professional, they use a white apron to create an authority on us. Celebrities are for the same purpose. Some cases logos are also have that same authority, like brands which we know they have got an standard quality. For example, in case of cars, if see a Mercedes, that logo is more than enough to have an authority on you. Fifth is commitment. Commitment, when as an human being, we don't like to contradict us. If we have said something in particularly in public, then we try to fulfill it. So make to get people to make small commitment now in order to get them to make a larger commitment later. That's the idea behind the commitment theory presented in Influence the Psychology of Persuasion. This is the idea. So, how can we use this thing? We strive, sometimes subconsciously, to be consistent with our beliefs and past action. When we make a commitment to something, especially in a public commitment, we are setting a standard for ourselves. Future decision and action will be weighed against the standard. And since we will most likely strive for consistency, we will choose to do something that supports the commitment rather than go against it. But how does that apply to our marketing? If you can get people to commit to a small purchase or an action that is free but makes them take a stand in some way, you will get yourself up for the future purchase. Just make them. I'm going to give you free this much part, and uh, if you don't like it, you can return it back. If they don't, if they use it for that free period, then they are more likely to purchase it after that because they make a silent commitment by using it, by accepting it. Sixth is liking. When we like someone, we are more likely to purchase from him. In case of offline, you must have observed that we have got some shops fixed for us. For clothing or garments, we go to a particular shop which we used to shop. In case of groceries, we go to a particular generally. So this is why, because we get a relationship develops with us. We start liking them. The reason may be anything. So we are more likely to be persuaded by the people we like and those we want to be like. The more you like someone, the more likely you are to say yes to them. This is the principle of liking. It's the reason companies hire celebrities, endorsers, why big brands use influencer and micro influencer to help promote their product and services. Earning a customer, a sale, or a recommendation are all related to the principle of liking. And the seventh one, the last but not the least one, is your fear. Fear of losing in something. Like here, you can see it. How fear is a powerful emotion that often override thought process and produce reaction without conscious thought. Like in our anti-tobacco campaigns or ads, we usually see someone which what we don't like, we won't prefer to have on us, or that would occur on us. Similarly, this ad in the picture shows how a person would be prompted to have a cholesterol test because the fear of death will make him do this. He may or he may not have any problem, but he will think of just let's have a check. Hmm. So even though fear, the trigger fear should be handled with very care. But how does a fear appeal influence consumers? Fear is a message that tends to manipulate behavior by arousing fear. Roger protection motivation theory states that people are motivated to protect themselves from physical, psychological, and social threats. In a nutshell, fear can stimulate people to have a greater brand attachment than other high activation emotions. So, if we conclude all the things, what we get, we all know that everyone is not a natural salesperson. In fact, we all struggle, and unless we understand the core principles and apply them, we all struggle in sales. In order to work effectively, the seven trigger framework should be applied specifically and consistently. By applying these seven core psychological principles, we can take the guesswork out of the marketing and lead to mind blowing conversion, sales, and growth. So, Friends, this was the major takeaway of class 3 of Digital Marketing Internship Program by Digital Deepak. Thank you.